Now it should work. Hello everyone. Now that was not planned. I know. Let's see if the mic is good. Should be fine. Is it too low? Let me see if I'm having mic issues. I'm suspecting I am. I am. Now it should be just fine. Alrighty. Hi everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. It's gonna be for a later cut. Let's pretend I just started. Everything works fine. Hey Casey. Hi. Let's go howdy. Yeah. Wait, I need to post in the community, which by the way, community leads me to, by the way, those who want to see how long ago I've mentioned how we're going to be testing 66666, and it was spoken about in my community right there. You can see Polinka, shout out to you Casey as well. Another shout out to all the new members, by the way. This wasn't really planned. I was planning to make a video today. Unfortunately, those who don't know, I am from Israel and having a bit of a war here kind of case thing. Casey, is the sound harsh and sharp, or is it like too high, too low? Is it good? Danny, first I've caught in a while. Yeah, I was not planning on making a live. Guys, tell me, is the sound good? Because my mixer here is showing as if it is slightly sharp and slightly high. Should I decrease it a little bit so it's not going to be that high and that sharp? Hope you're all keeping well. Yeah, I'm trying to. By the way, it's gonna be funny if I'm gonna get a siren like mid live. In fact, let me make sure you guys can hear how that whole thing looks like and see how that looks like in case it will happen. Let me get prepared. Okay, so yeah, in case it will go off, you guys will be able to see how that sounds and looks like. Although I'm not gonna lie, I just finished a 2-hour long session with a student of mine and I didn't have a single alarm here. Sound is fine for me. Casey, is it good for you? You could decrease it a bit and got a lot of louder. Okay. Is it better now? No, does it? Hopefully now it shouldn't cut in. It should be just right, or so it appears. Casey, you should let me know. That should be just right. If it's too low, let me know. Although it should be just right. It's good. It's good that I came in early to start doing sort of this prep thing. Again, community thing, real quick. Those who don't know. Yeah, that's great. Alright, so those who don't know, real quick, you have basically literally 2 less days to join in on the discounted price. This price, the discount is going to expire within 2 days from now. Precisely 2 days, that's it. Final opportunity. No more after this. That $50 will change to be $70 a month. Those who lock in the current price will stay at that price, so I highly recommend locking it in. You can of course change this little ticker to be 20% more if you do want to join annually. You'll be able to join the Discord that you just saw. There is no other way. The Discord is private. You'll be up to speed. Of course, I do post my charts to the members on a daily basis. As you can see, keep them up to speed. They are far more prepared in advance. You can see literally weeks, months in advance we've prepared this. You can see the dates right there. You can see that is 2025. You can see how we've been discussing these levels, and we're aware that we will be rounding, sort of going back to these levels, and we'll retest them. In fact, arguably right now, though, some people, Greg, that's it, the crash is over, we found the bottom. Guys, seriously, I mean, that's quite a fragile, you know. Hey Royal, hello, good to see you there. Yeah. Also, damn it, I need to inform everyone that the live is live, and the live is live. I need to tell them that the live is live. That is funny, right? So, but I do need to do that. Give me a second. I do need to do that. Hope you're all doing well. Oh, here's my live. Ah, that's beautiful. I can share it with the members. Let's go real quick. Where's that Discord? Casual. So seriously, why are you being so annoying? Okay. like so, like so, and like so, and like so. So people will be able to join. All right, coolsies. That is the Discord, by the way, those who don't know. Those who are stuck in limbo. There are plenty of people who joined and are stuck in limbo. Those people who are stuck right there, those who have the public role and haven't yet sorted their roles out, do that ASAP. We have bots that clean up that area, if you will. If you're only stuck within the framework of these two channels, either apply to the Academy, if you want to apply to the Academy, or of course sort out your Patreon role. Otherwise, you'll be stuck and you'll not be able to access the actual material. If it's, the various postings we have about various things, finance, economy, breaking news, whatever. And of course, the focus of the community, the technical analysis, the charts. You'll be able to see why and how we expect anything and everything to play out. My charts, all the conversations we have about various topics, lives, meetings, and all of the above. So that's how you join. Again, another real quick sort of thing right here. You go to patreon.com/Gregory, well, Greg_Ori_H, right? When you are on the channel, when you are now watching the live, to be informed that I do go live, so you'll be up to speed like Casey here and the rest of the people. Don't forget to ring this little bell. Don't forget to make it, don't forget to set it to all, the notification bell, otherwise you will not be informed. If you are on X, please do follow me on X. It does really help. Me complaining to YouTube, sort of cock blocking my videos, which they definitely do. Hey, Tyne, that's so glad to see. Well, oh my God, that really is amazing. I'm getting a lot of the sort of the members I don't usually get to see. Good to see you guys. I love that you are joining in. So we're gonna, of course, do the market analysis in a second. I'm sort of, getting prepped and everything, posting and all that stuff. So don't worry, you didn't miss on a single thing. I'm just letting everybody know not to forget to ring the notification bell, otherwise they'll not be informed. Those who are not yet Patreons, sign up right now, because the discount will expire in exactly 2 days. And instead of it potentially being $40, it will be up to $70, literally in a couple of days. Definitely do not sign up through iOS. If you sign up through iOS, they charge you like 25% more on top of everything. You don't want to do that. It's just, don't do that. Okay, just don't. Okay, now let's go to the charts. Let's talk about the charts. So as you see, I've been telling you for quite a while how that curvature, how us going sideways, sort of flat for quite a while, will end up and result with the price action eventually breaking downwards. Pardon me. Again, if we want to kind of find the median more better, like so, we'll break down, and we can see signs of that breakdown staying within the formation, the channel that is diagonal downwards. Don't worry, we have all the regular support and resistance levels there. We're just on a different chart. Don't worry, it's just to kind of highlight where we are on a clean chart, so nobody is going to get discombobulated, right? So everybody's going to stay on point. So as you can see, we're now sitting at the bottom of the channel, and arguably usually what happens when we do move within a framework of a certain channel, unless we are at the bottom and we have very negative, very bearish momentum, which wink wink we do, we end up usually moving, at least retesting potentially that ceiling, sometimes even with some slippage, marginal error. That's quite normal. So what we are seeing here, we opened up with quite a gap. It does seem like we are teetering on, sort of rolling backwards and correcting on this entire movement. Looks like momentum is running out, but that could be something very temporary. We're actually going to look at that in a couple of minutes. So what this could mean is that that's it. We're running out of momentum when we're falling back down, potentially breaking out of this channel and continuing downwards on a far more steeper channel. Simply, as we're already accustomed and know quite well, the market tends to gain in droplets but lose in buckets. Basically, as Tom Nash, my dear friend, likes to say, climb up by the stairs, drop down by the elevator. So, and we are kind of seeing that very sort of progression. So let's go to our more familiar charts, those who you guys have seen before, with all the support and resistance levels. Let's see where we're at within that sort of framework of things. So what are we seeing? We are actually now entangled with the median, what appears to be that diagonal channel. There is a sort of a diagonal channel right there. There is a median of sorts that's crossing sideways. It arguably started right there. Again, not going to be obvious to the uninitiated, but you can kind of see how the curvature of this old channel is moving downwards altogether, and then sort of correcting, curving upwards to where? To the top of the channel. So really what is being tested? That median, right? We're seeing how the median of the channel is being tested. Arguably that's right now where we're at. In fact, arguably the median of the shorter range channel is being tested as well. Just let's be objective about that. The median of the smaller channel. Oh, by the way, we are on the SPX. Those who don't know, the S&P 500 on 5-minute increments. You can see the watermark, the blue watermark in the background. So we are having two channels, two linear regression moving average channels on the chart right now, one of which is shorter range, the other one is lengthier. So thus we get two channels simultaneously, which both are true. In other words, perceive this as the price action moving within a greater channel, but also within that greater channel we have smaller incremental channels that lead up to where we make it to, which we then perceive as a singular channel, right? So the making parts of the workings of an individual sort of trend, right? So what we're seeing right now does appear a lot more like a corrective motion. In fact, as you guys know, and as we usually accustomed to doing here, we rely on momentum. Momentum objectively is bullish. Although, I mean, let's be objective about this. We are seeing some curvature occurring right there, right at 50, which symbolizes more of a corrective shallow movement, which may end up just dying out at 67.06. Or let's just go to the 30 minutes and see what it is that we see on the larger time frame. On the larger time frame, in fact, it is quite indicative of what I've implied just earlier, how we are breaking downwards. We are at the peak of this momentum, although we are in overbought territory in this instance, because we are at the top of the channel, so to speak. And here that means we may remain a little bit more bullish for longer, given how we're looking at larger increments. 30 minutes, that means every single candlestick is 30 minutes, so that means just a couple of those candlesticks that will remain far more bullish than bearish. Guess what? We'll end up moving far closer to that yellow, so you see that yellow support or resistance level that we've established being sort of an internal support or resistance level. Doesn't necessarily obey by the current channel. It is something secondary that was identified. And similarly so, we are seeing how on the 45 minutes, which is a very good time frame to look at, because if you kind of switch right away from 30 to 1 hour, what ends up happening is that you get slightly discombobulated, maybe kind of lose your place, and the logic of the overall structure gets lost. You kind of get confused to whether, wait, are we going up, are we going down, why they're so contradictory, the 30 minutes and the hour, right? Let's see what the hour says. Let's see what the hour says. TradingView, come on. Thank you. I mean, come on. Okay. So so the 1 hourly chart on TradingView. This season on TradingView. So it is still bullish. Objectively, it is bullish. Bullish dominant. We still haven't yet had the crossover. It is above the 80 range. That means in overbought territory. So objectively bullish on steroids, although the momentum is diminishing. We can see the momentum is dying down. Our K is pointed downwards, right? Our short range moving average indicator of our momentum that is indicative and representative of bullish momentum for that time frame. Of course, in this instance, it is curving inwards to meet up with the D, the red line. Once they cross over the D, the red line becomes dominant, basically above. Numerically, you can see the difference: 83 higher than 79. Simply put, when this red number crosses above that green number, this is where green momentum dies down, or bullish momentum, and bearish momentum, red momentum if you will, takes over. And then we see that being expressed in the price action. In the price action, that leads to price action dropping, so basically price depreciating. Pretty simple. Now what else that we want to have? So you see, we have here a confluence, a meeting of various support and resistance levels, that some of whom are stronger than others, more major than others, that market is subject and respected prior to. Of course, we consider the rest of the movement around that as slippage. Hello, Andrew. And so what we're expecting here to see is potentially very shortly a potential some sort of a correction. In fact, again, we don't know whether it's going to end up resulting with a movement, with a completion movement to the upper band of the channel, not yet. What this symbolizes still is that retest or potentially movement into that wedge that you can see being generated via that yellow major support resistance diagonal level. And of course, these inner channels, as you can see, we have a channel crossing through. As we said, we have that median, right? Well, not median, bottom, pardon me, and the median, well, that's the median on the smaller time frame, right? So they kind of are different, but the one highlight that you want to pay attention to is that the current channel, although moving higher to its resistance, will still result with us sort of testing a higher price point. But still, if you look at this time frame and you pay attention to the structure of the channel, you realize our directionality right now is still downward, something I warned about before, something that sort of, you know, gets lost within the translation, within the noise, within the framework of everything that's going on and everything that I'm showing. People tend to lose sight of these medium length channels, and the fact of the matter that we are at the bottom of the larger channel, that potentially implies a transition, as we already implied, to a far more steeper angle to our trend downwards, not up, down. Okay, let's see what's going on in the chat. Somebody once thought that thing is a wig. Brad, shout out to you, man. Hope you're there. Ain't the wig, brother. Wig. Right, so where were we? 4 hours. 4 hours we're going downwards. You see, I was planning to do this as a video. Unfortunately, again, too much going on, and so I decided to just go live and you know, kind of plow through this as fast as I can. So as you can see, you know what, I'm going to try and remove all these drawings for the chart to make more sense to you boys and girls. Otherwise, you know, it's going to be very discombobulating. So, our larger channel, as you can see, our larger channel was going up. In fact, we already broke out. We already are moving within that downwards channel quite significantly. In fact, as you can see, we're getting steeper and steeper. So everything that we're experiencing within that green candlestick today is more of a corrective movement. Like, we literally can double it and we're still not gonna correct on the entire. We still are basically bearish engulfing, if you will, to put it in simple terms. Bearish dominant, moving downwards, what appears to be in a far more of a steeper angle, with confluence of momentum, of course, does show a temporary sort of holding off a little bit on that, but it doesn't mean it's going to be cancelled. In fact, as we are in bearish territory, I suspect my daily will show me that we are still moving downwards, and so this is just intermissionary sort of shallow corrective movement within the framework of a larger downwards channel. Remember how the same way I described it earlier, if that's the channel, a bit of a corrective movement in a transition to a far larger, shallow, sort of more steeper, not shallower, sorry, steeper downwards channel. Now, let's go to the daily and see if I was right. And the daily is actually bearish. Well, let's see. I mean, it kind of is going towards confluence. That means we're probably going to experience a little bit of sideways price action. Something I warned about, by the way, those who don't know. I did warn how we're going to have... It's not going to have to be symmetrical. Those who don't understand my drawings or what I mean, it's like when I drew either... thank you. Either a rectangle or a circle around that sort of batch, right? Once we broke below that support or resistance level, that is roughly that red one, that 6,869.44. Once we broke below that, we kind of entered this range that I'm highlighting, which was tested before. I am over highlighting because the actual range kind of resides within these realms, but as you can see, we're going to have slippage on both ends. That is kind of normal, right? And so we're expecting to have something very similar. Does that mean it's going to be equal perfectly and look exactly like that, building up that shoulder? So Greg, are you saying we're going to correct all the way up to 6,800? We may. We actually may. Again, it's not going to be perfectly symmetrical. It actually may end up up being not symmetrical at all and may end up being far steeper and sort of transitioning downwards. But for right now, the framework of the very same support and resistance levels that we work our way through right now are basically the same ones that were established, as you can see, on the left side of the chart right here. I hope you guys all can see that. It should be right above my head right there. Cool. Okay, cool. So, do I have any admins right now in my chat? No, I don't. That's not great. So, put live. Live is more live. Who was that? Who said that? Zach. Oh, you, my God, you're such a legend. Okay, that's funny. You're such a legend, man. That's just... No, chef's kiss, brother. Chef's kiss. How did I miss that one? That's just the proper one. Okay. I put live on top of your live. Next season. Double the action, triple the excitement. All right. So yeah, as you can see, guys, we still are quite objectively bearish, and even though we are having some confluence and temporary sort of remission of that bullish tendency that we have right now, but it's very going to be short-lived, and of course everybody's going to correlate it to the end of the war or some other excuses. Heads up, guys, the market is saying that in advance, right? Whatever is going to happen. Am I saying the war is going to happen? Well, first of all, those who want to know, the conversation here around professionals, mass media, independent media, all of the above, the conversation here that this thing is going to last at least a month from now. And trust me, I'm the last person who want to say it. Look at the bags underneath my eyes. They have been torturing us. Trust me, we are all tired, but we have to keep on pushing on to help the Iranian people become truly independent and free from that tyrannical regime they've been under for truly around 200 years. If you think about it, you know, what was around 50 to 60 years was only a break. It was just a temporary break that they were able to establish, and then they were taken over a long time ago by the Islamic Brotherhood, if you know the reality of it. And again, I'm not saying there are no good Muslims in the world. There are some, unfortunately. The vast majority are fucking insane and terrorists and want to kill everyone. So that's the reality of it. Don't get mad at me, get mad at them for being this way. So they literally, it's a culture that comes into various countries and literally exploits and weaponizes our own empathy against us. Guys, wake the fuck up. We need to, otherwise it's just gonna get real bad. That's all I have to say about that topic. No hate to all the Muslims in the world. There are real good ones. I know, I've served in the IDF with some of them, believe it or not. Yes, we have plenty of them here in Israel. They're really awesome people. I don't care about your religious basis. Christian, Muslim, you believe in the chair, in the sun, you pray to the tequila bottle. I don't give a shit. Just don't be a dick. Pretty simple attitude, right? So what are we seeing? We're basically seeing continuation of this, kind of to summarize what we're seeing in the price action with regards to the SPX, which is not going to be all that surprising. We may see some retests. They don't have to be equal and identical to that left side of the chart, but it may gonna be somewhat similar. We call that asymmetrical symmetry. Basically, the overall idea is happening on both sides of the wave, if you will, of the overall impulse, and so we're getting sort of adjacent impulses back to next to that top, which are representative of that shoulder, head and shoulders structure, which is not going to be made out of nothing. Of course, it's going to be made out of these gradual processes that sort of lead up to the making of that overall process that we are observing. Going back to the monthly, the sort of the holy grail of where we can see really the true trend of its structure of how things are, as we can see clear divergence in that overbought territory. That means we are looking at a long duration, given how we are on the monthly chart, long duration downtrend, which is very significant. The more divergence, the more dispersed they get from one another, the more indicative it is of the length of time that this trend is going to be. Basically, when they are adjacent and parallel to one another, all it requires is just one simple little bullish move to sort of cancel out what we're seeing. At this stage, it will require a significant bullish move to cancel it out, which of course this will become slightly more parallel, as we're going to be seeing. So once that weekly, as you can see, the weekly is kind of begging to correct somewhat, and once that weekly will start correcting correcting. That will translate to our monthly. That means these lines will become slightly more parallel. Everybody who aims downwards will get scared. Greg, does that mean the crash has been canceled? No, that's how the crash, the correction that's going to be happening inside here will be expressed. Otherwise, the move downwards is still the move downwards. It's just gradual, the same way we gradually move up. That's the very same way. Until that sort of initial significant drop beyond that 80 range on the stochastic RSI will occur, basically before both lines, as we can see again, bullish now being our K being below 79, being 79 below 80, but our D is still above 91, still means there's plenty of bullish momentum, so to speak, to fight against the bearish momentum there is in the system that is accelerating and growing, the bearish that is, but the bullish is still there and slowly sort of dying out. But while it still is there, it needs to be purged, and that will be, of course, far more visible that is occurring, that sort of purge is occurring of bullish momentum, when we're going to see that 91 get closer and closer to that 80 range, which basically break below the overbought territory. What else that I wanted to highlight here about the SPX? I guess not much. Oil. Let's talk about oil. Yeah, there we go. I mean, I've been saying that there will be a major still correction to the upside. As you can literally see how my prediction sort of went about oil. Pay attention. I know it's easy to miss, but I'm also predicting a major correction downwards while building up that upward trend. It sort of is part of the process. Let me sort of zoom out and show you what I mean. You see here we expected some sort of flatness. We spoke about this. We expected the retest of actually the range of 50. My expectation was that we will drop as low as 50. We ended up not doing so. Simply sort of the war and everything kicked in, which spiked the oil prices, the blocking of the Strait of Hormuz, which, by the way, Tom and I spoke about quite in depth. And I was in sort of, it held me back for a second. I was like, no, we cannot just open up the Strait of Hormuz and that's going to be enough. Why? Because the Houthis are literally around the corner. Yes, I mean, removing the head of the snake, which is Iran, in essence may resolve everything. Andrew here does know quite a bit about naval lanes and maybe sort of Andrew, I would be more than happy if you're still here and you can put in your 2 cents. But my opinion that if America is already there, it's going to be very weird for them not to take care of the Houthis, which are basically around the corner and pose as much of a threat for the supply chain and the supply lanes. And I mean, they're not posing as much of a threat at the moment, but I would think they would be. And I realistically think that while America is already there, it's a problem that will have to be resolved. Tom thinks I'm wrong. Not to talk badly ill of Tom, God forbid. I love Tom and we're literally, I would arguably say Tom is my best friend. Tom Nash, I love you much. You're an amazing friend. Don't get me wrong. Nobody twist my words and clip this or whatever, some other bullshit. Because Tom and I talk and he'll know I'm not speaking ill of him. I just think that he is not correct about the importance of the Yemenis, the Houthis in this instance, and I think they'll have to be taken care of. Andrew, if you're there, I would love to hear your input about whether I'm right or wrong, just from your own personal opinion about whether the Houthis will have to be taken care of for the supply chains to be reinstated and normalized, even when Iran will be taken care of and the Strait of Hormuz will be reopened. Just my own opinion. I'm just saying what I think. I could be wrong. It is what it is. That's not technical sort of analysis. This is just logical, analytical perception on the circumstance. Also, being from the region, kind of, served in the military, I do understand a couple of things in life to say that based upon something. Hey, Blackberry, good to see you. Shout out to you, you beautiful legend. Shout out to all my Academy members. By the way, the Academy is still discounted. The one-on-one Academy is discounted. I currently have only 2 spots left. There is another student who just joined and started doing her sessions, so definitely join in. Otherwise, you'll miss out on a great price. It is currently still discounted. The full price, the original price of the Academy is literally $10,000 and is horribly 60% discounted right now. So definitely take advantage of that before the discount expires. Also, another quick reminder, do not forget to ring the notification bell, otherwise you'll not be informed whenever I go live. Definitely watch this video when I spoke just the other week on the 10th, it appears, that I spoke about how it's just getting started, and I warned about, people are gonna misread this corrective motion that's gonna happen in the market right now, and people are gonna misunderstand it. So I highly recommend. Question is, what currently will oil be traded in unless oil traded in the US dollar? We can expect lots of... No, Tyne, never forget about any idea ever, okay? Not in the near-term future, not especially when Trump is at the helm, to the dollar to be replaced as the de facto, sort of leader currency, and the only one major currency. There's a reason why we refer to it as the petrodollar. So no, it's not going to happen. The dollar will stay the leader. Look, it actually leads to a very interesting conversation I had in a whole different community about oil and military might and power, and at the end of, and I really sort of tittered on the edge there. They do not have the resources to handle the situation in the Straits and Red Sea. I really do have, in my opinion, America does have the resources to do that, but I think it'll have to be dealt with, even if not right away. I do think it will have to be dealt with regards to resources and logistics. And again, sort of relying on my knowledge and expertise, and given what I've seen being brought here into the Middle East, I truly believe that they do have more than enough to take care of the Houthis. The Houthis are not a joke, but at the same time, I do believe the American military combined with the Israeli military here, I think we can take care of that. Put together, I don't think it's even a difficult job. But not currently. No, not simultaneously. No, Andrew, no, not simultaneously. So at a later point, in fact, arguably I would say that first Iran has to be dismantled. Well, the IRGC has to be dismantled for them to be able to deal with the Houthis, in my humble opinion. But in terms of lanes, in terms of transportation lanes and all that area, again, you kind of do have to. Even if kind of going around as far as you can, you still you are within range for the Houthis, even if you do open up the Strait of Hormuz, if you even do need to go through the Red Sea. So, I see. No, I mean, we'll see. I do believe. Again, we'll see. At the end of the day, I could be wrong about this, and they're not going to deal with it at all whatsoever. That's just my opinion. So, by the way, those who have not watched this yet, I highly recommend watching this video. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now real quick, just so everybody can real quick watch it later if they want to. Alrighty, that is that. Oil, we wanted to tend to oil for a second. So let's look at the momentum of oil. And in fact, again, we are seeing that downwards movement as I've predicted. You see it's already being generated. Here it is. You see the pressure is sort of building up, right? Again, a lot of people misunderstand and think that, I mean, arguably the war obviously affected the speed and the rate at which the occurrence is occurring, and we maybe even overshot our channel. But overall, this was expected, and we are progressing in this sort of broader channel upwards. And as you can see, even the steeper the shallower channels, both of them are pointing to an upside movement on oil. So that was somewhat expected. Again, momentum-wise, we expected this as well. There was a buildup of bullish momentum. We did move into overbought territory there, as you can see. But we are now moving downwards. Pardon me. We are correcting somewhat, and we are seeing confluence right here. Bearish becoming dominant. We are having sort of a representation of some form of head and shoulders. Really, it's not a head and shoulders as much as it's a whole different harmonic pattern that is just merely being represented and appears as a head and shoulders within the momentum framework. Wink, wink. Those who know. I highly recommend going to the academy, the one-on-one, where I'll teach you all about that, how it works, the rhythm, the cyclicality, how it all works, what it means. And so it appears we are having some downwards pressure here. It does not mean it's the end of the overall structure upwards, as in fact we can see that we still are just experiencing a temporary correction on a larger time frame, which is the ones we like to go to. So this is, again, given how oil is a range bound and a linear asset, but given that it's range bound on such a wide range, we still can move diagonally within these frameworks. So as you can see, we are moving our way to the upside, downside, high volatility given the circumstances, of course, but we still are moving within a bullish trend. As you can see, that was expected. We are having this, and of course, the higher it gets, and as you can see, we are now in overbought territory with clear divergence. So that means there is more bullish momentum to be had. We're looking at 118 here as a major resistance. We're looking at the resistance of the channel right there that will end up being roughly 112 here, or 134, 147, all of the above. All of these are possible. I highly doubt we're going to cross significantly above these levels again, unless something tremendously significant happens. For the time being, these appear to be the levels we're moving towards. Of course, it's not going to happen in a linear fashion. As you can see, in fact, I've highlighted how we may end up dropping as low as these very same 50s before we actually continue back higher. So it may, not will, may, depends on the progression as we're gonna have it. That is at that time. I hope you got that one about oil. Of course, shipping lanes are being highly affected. Insurance for the shipping, all of these things highly affect, everything with regards to not just oil itself. It's not just it's not just oil manufacturing. Sort of when we're talking about oil mining, sort of oil extraction, right? It's not just oil extraction itself on its own. It's oil refining. It's oil shipping. All these processes. The shipping, insurances, all these things put together is what leads to, of course, I'm not even going to talk about the fact of the matter that we already have inflation through the roof, and that's going to exacerbate inflation and all of the above, all of these sort of ripple effects, the secondary, tertiary, all of the above effects that we're going to have. So, what else do we want to talk about, boys and girls? What else do we want to talk about? Real quick, I really wanted to make a bunch, and again, another thing. So that means there's another thing. Some of my members asked about Plug. Some of you guys know we've traded Plug very successfully on the previous run. Some of us made anywhere between 150, 60, 70-ish to 200 range. Percent within a couple of months, some within a month. Some of us made over 300% on that one single trade real quick. That was really nice trade. Yes, some of us are seeing a pickup in momentum. For example, we're looking on the 4 hours, looks quite bullish, but that's short range. Again, daily, if it will, I'm trading you at some point will allow me. Again, somewhat bullish as we're remaining above that 50 range. It is basically, again, a corrective, temporary bearish correction, remaining in bullish territory. That means we are just merely correcting down a little bit, but generally moving upwards. So we are seeing a general pickup in energy stocks, in general in energy assets, various assets. I particularly love Plug because they are a hydrogen play. There are various companies that are talking about how they're going to transition to hydrogen. Hydrogen is, if done right, can be very safe. All these very dumb excuses about infrastructure and all that, that's exactly what they are, dumb excuses. Of course, those who understand. There is a very great, safe, clean, harmonic future for this energy source, and it appears that some of these companies are benefiting, and we can see the momentum starting to pick up. So yes, as we're gonna see energy benefit, and we are seeing sort of derivative signs as come through as signals. And so that kind of leads us to see that the potential bullish run is coming, even through these correlated assets. Basically, the sector itself is signaling that we're moving into a bullish move right here. In fact, as you can see, that first bullish move happened when we went through that overbought territory, and right now we are pointed upwards with clear divergence, right? And as we're going to progress and move into overbought territory, it's far more likely for us to see a lot more of that bullish momentum build up. And yes, we may see another run and another test of some of these highs that we saw earlier. Of course, I'm not talking about these highs. I'm talking about highs that we already have experienced throughout recent periods. We are looking at this range of 4-ish, 5, and some dollars above, arguably maybe 5, 6, but not higher than that temporarily. Of course, as we're going to progress, I will do more reading. That is exactly why you want to ring that notification bell and up to be up to speed. Otherwise, you will not be up to speed, and you'll not know when I go live or when I post a video. And when I will say, oh guys, no, bad idea, you know, the market seems to turn around, whatever, blah blah blah, you're simply not going to be up to speed simply because you were not informed that I posted or spoke about one thing or another. Alrighty. Of course, it's not going to be all that smooth sailing. You know, there are various support and resistance levels as we're going to have through the process. In fact, arguably what we're seeing right now is, you compare to the left side of things, we're still testing that narrower, lower band of things. Yes, we did break out of it, tested some levels, but we broke back in, and it's still being tested. And so the very next retest, as you can see, sort of comparable, is going to be the ranges between up to, again, those 5, but still keeping the lows of 2, 2.5. So we may see, so pardon me, this sort of movement higher than these previous ceiling, but still not breaking throughout these previous support and resistance levels that were very well known to us, as we said, within the range of the 5. All right, that is that. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else I wanted to talk about? What else? I think that's it. Of course, as you know, all tech is going to be affected. The tech, Tesla, Palantir, all of the above. As you can see, Palantir, as I was saying, you know, our support and resistance levels are playing out perfectly. As I was the only, again, sort of rational, common sense, down to earth analysts, and I was saying, guys, there will be a transition to the uptrend, and I was implying that there will be potentially retests of these 167 levels, 164. As we see, we tested this 160. In fact, I was very, very, very close. We already started some of the corrective measure, although there is still some bullish momentum being purged. As we can see on the 4 hours, bullish is bearish, but we can see confluence taking place, so that probably will get tested again, giving us another impulse right there to the upside. Weekly is bullish, so that definitely confirms what I was seeing right there on a smaller time frame. Definitely have confirmation for that higher movement, potentially to these higher bands. As we see right here on the monthly, we're having confluence, and we are becoming bullish dominant, but in bearish territory. So that means it's going to be mitigated bullish momentum. So all that's going to result in people will expect this to continue pushing higher than that higher head and shoulders that we had. But no, that's what exactly where the mistake will be. It will still remain bearish, basically creating a lower high, generating that downtrend. Right, as we said, Palantir will be dropping with a parachute of sorts. Basically, there will be impulses to the upside. It still does not mean nor prevent the market going downwards continuously. So, by the way, those who did not like the video yet, do like the video, please. It is absolutely free, I swear. You will not be charged for pressing the like button. You dislike the button, you don't like me, don't like my long hair, you hate me. Goodbye. Go screw yourself, also. Hope the door kicks you on the ass. Nice of me, right? Bitcoin technical analysis, maybe? Well, that's actually, you know, that's not a bad one. Normally, I'm not a big fan of looking at Bitcoin because it is such a bullshit asset. But given its very toxic and very neat tight relationship that was generated over time with the actual stock market, with the indices, with the major indices, artificially, of course, but that sucks for them, you know. And that toxic relationship will, guess what, will signal the very same thing. Again, Bitcoin right now is picking up, but it's picking up on the bullish and in the bearish territory. So if you look at the bigger, broader picture, it's like, yeah, you know, it's picking up, it's correcting, yeah. Very similar to what I was saying about Palantir, basically. It's going to do this sort of thing, you know, and I'm not setting this point in space to say that's what it's going to be. I'm giving a general sort of broader idea. It can even be a lot sort of more shallow. It can be even higher, like so. But on the grand scheme of things, you're gonna see like this is not truly bullish. This is fake bullish. This is bullish that is held back, if you will. And if you will look at the broader picture, like I said, guess what? We're building up a strong downward trend, which I expect the major support resistance to be, again, within the 20,000 range, where it's gonna play with your emotions and screw you, the majority of people, and then result in like really low lows. Why? Because of this. This is a 6-month period. That means we are basically going very low. Bitcoin is going to go very low. This is what the market is saying. It's not me. It is literally on a downwards trajectory, bearish dominant. I mean, you do you. Yeah. Which is, by the way, not all that surprising. I mean, expect this to be cut down at least 50%. If this is going to be anywhere near related to the stock market, which I expect it to be a lot more volatile because it has a lot more speculative people and a lot more sort of speculation and just, you know, gut feelings involved, I expected this to fall more than 50%. In fact, arguably anywhere between 70 to 80%, merely just based up, predicated on the idea of fear and, well, the opposite of FOMO. That's how your overall public tends to react to these sort of movements, because it's easy not to see that now, but when the market will be dropping for months on end, suddenly it will be a lot easier to see, I promise. But I actually, Tyne, I am so sorry. That one, you need to start joining our academy meetings, dear. You have been so much missing from the academy meetings that we've been having on a weekly basis. We've been having 2 of them, by the way. Yes, my academy members, when they graduate, they remain with the community, of course, for life. That is part of the model, and they join me for 2 meetings a week, sometimes 1, sometimes 2. I'm still a human and still am living in in Israel. I don't have to highlight how crazy that gets. But Tyne, join us, and please, because I really am about to adjourn this. I really am running out of time. I have to do some errands. I've already gone through several meetings today and really got to run. And potentially we're going to have a meeting today. The academy meeting today may actually still play out. I'm not sure. I'm not promising anything, but we still may have our academy meeting scheduled for today. Those who don't know, like I said, we have our academy meetings here in the Discord. If you'll go to our message board to announcements, usually I announce, by the way, yeah, this is kind of a little bit of a breakdown of how you sign up to the academy, and that I have only 2 spots. You see, guys, no bullshit, only 2 spots available right now. You can reserve a spot, but obviously better to not waste your time, especially understand about how things go on. So as you can see, we do have our academy meetings with our members. There's the defined schedule, the academy graduates, and so on and so on. The everyone meetings, the Patreon meetings that we have every first Tuesday of every month. Sometimes we have more meetings. It kind of depends on the schedule, how it's set, depends on how many students I have. Shout out to all my amazing members in the community. Love you all. To all the new members as well, definitely join in and you'll be in the know. What else is important to say? I guess, whoa, crypto mysteries, like your attitude. What's your take on the yuan for oil? Nothing. It's don't even go there. The petrol dollar will not be replaced, guys. Forget about it. To impose that energy barricade that exists, which actually is a very logical thing to be had, because when you understand what some superpowers would do with this, if this limitation was not imposed, and so we have to have something like America, like Trump, as the main, the dollar is the main currency, and the US as the main force who imposes that world order. There I use this terminology. I'm not a big fan, but you understand what I'm trying to say. It needs to be this way, otherwise, if you're gonna remove oil limitations or energy limitations from various countries, we are all in big doo-doo. Big doo-doo. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, you like my approach, my friend. That's, I'm just being, the members here will tell you, my attitude to everything is to be straightforward, honest about it, whether I like what I'm seeing or not. I'm gonna say it how it is. I may voice my opinion at the end, which I usually even won't. I would usually voice my opinion to my community in the Discord. This is where we hang out, talk about everything. I show my analysis. I speak with the members one-on-one, hang out with them, there, this is where I share my opinion. But always, this is all about data-driven, objective, not subjective, but objective, data-driven analysis. And it is technical analysis is oftentimes misconstrued for this gut feeling sort of voodoo science. It's not. It is highly mathematical, and the students of the graduates of the academy who are watching this can vouch and tell you that the market is not just scalpel accurate and predictable if you do it right. It is obsidian accurate. Obsidian, if those who don't know, found to be, if used the right way, can be even sharper and result in smoother cuts than our surgical scalpels. Yes, this is not a joke. So the market, there I say it, and if you want to test it, please do join the academy, and I will teach you exactly how is it that the technical analysis shows us, exposes rather, demystifies that technical analysis is merely the mathematical language of the market, and we're all subject to it without even noticing. It is quite a fascinating thing. My students here can tell you. That's it, everyone. I love you all. I gotta run, and it's quite amazing that I was able to do this entire live. I'm not sure how long it was, but all of this without having sirens or anything. This is quite phenomenal. Maybe we're headed towards good, better times. No, I know it's not, guys. Don't. I mean, as far as the experts are saying, look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's impossible that things will be done within a week or so. They can be, or even temporarily so. You know, a ceasefire, whatever. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I see on the technical analysis. How it will coincide, will be parallel to real-world events, I don't know. I can just tell you what it is that I am seeing. How will that interpret to real-world events? Very hard to say. For example, you can find in my community sort of this Noi the other day. Noi, shout out to you, beautiful, beautiful legend. Love you much, my brother. Hope you're safe. Sort of spoke about this. I'm not going to show this, but, you know, I pointed this out. The other day was kind of making fun of how I was able to predict Trump's tweet. I wasn't able to predict Trump's tweet. I was able to, because that wasn't what he was saying. He was saying that I was able to expect and predict the price action before the tweet that led to that price action to occur even happened. So before Trump even tweeted what brought about the price action to move, I already predicted the price action to move. So does that mean I predicted Trump's tweet? Do I have insider information? No, not at all. It is simply me being able to read properly and accurately into what the charts are telling themselves, the technical analysis. That means certain forces in the market were already aware that this movement is coming for one reason or another, and Trump's tweet merely led up to that price action to be pushed forward to the forefront, if you will. I appreciate Peter. That's you know, that's what I do for the community. I do it a lot more personally with them on a daily basis. I post, whether it's you know, charts, whether it's my thoughts, my analysis, various meetings. Pardon me for the sore throat. We do hang out sometimes. We have these weekly meetings with the academy. In fact, this year I put a strong highlight on the academy education and the academy tier for my community. I really am putting 200% effort into them. So again, as much as I do recommend sort of being new to the community, you know, I'm new here, joining in, getting to know the ropes, joining in, seeing some charts, this and that, it's all nice and dandy. It still is somewhat like watching a foreign movie while being able to understand a couple of words here and there, and you will get better with time. You will learn the jargon, you will understand more and more gradually. But wouldn't you want to accelerate that process and truly be able to be independent and read the market the same way I do? Because that's what I teach in my one-on-one academy, where I literally tutor you one-on-one, not just videos that I throw at you and watch that. No, one-on-one meetings, and based upon a schedule that we both agree upon, so that can be marathoning the curve, you know, marathoning it, if you will, running like crazy through it. And then you join the meetings, the weekly meetings, and you truly understand, because then you have the analysis aspect of it and the running analysis of what is going on truly in traffic right in front of us, sort of what the conditions are, and then being able to sort of deduct from that what is expected. kind of, makes sense. This is what, how, and why I've been able to do that so accurately, as you've been following me. Those who have and those who have not, don't forget to subscribe, like, ring the bell, and all that wonderful stuff. Ring the notification bell, otherwise you'll not be informed when I go live, such as today, because that was not planned. Many of you were not informed. That's not good. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're a Patreon. Make sure you like. You like my videos, right, and all that beautiful stuff. I am fighting the algorithm. YouTube really does mistreat any and all creators from Israel. I can tell you that. They really don't like us succeeding, so let's show them that they're assholes, and my channel is an exception. It's gonna succeed no matter freaking what. Well, love you all. Stay safe, especially those who are from Middle East and Dubai, Israel, Lebanon, all of our friends. You all stay safe. Guys, I know the war is shit, but it's going to be over with soon, I promise. I mean, sooner or later it's going to be over with, and the Middle East is going to be reformed, and it's going to be this beautiful heaven. It's not going to be brown, disgusting from space. It's going to be beautiful and green. Why? Because we, Israel, are going to help all of these allies to rebuild and grow their countries into beautiful, blissful heavens, and not some of these places that they are, atrocious, tyrannical, just, hellholes. Love you all. See you on the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.